Yes. Yes. Hello. Happy New Year. Boy, is this a wide view of a very dirty room. Happy New Year, everyone. Oh my gosh. Hi, Joe Slow. Hi, Flower Lotus. Hi, Marie. What's happening? So happy to see everyone. Oh my God. I'm so happy to so happy to see you. I know I don't have really good lighting. Mm. What had happened was I end up always having like internet issues. And so during podcast stuff with Wa, I would be in the other room. I was having like having internet issue after internet issue. And so the internet is in my room. And so I've just been like being right by here. And I have a little like, sorry, my boobies are like distracting me. Whew. Um, I was like just trying to be close to the router to have like an Ethernet card or whatever. God bless it. So that's what's been happening. Hi. I'm so happy to see you. Oh my God. Hello. Yeah. Yes, Biggie. Hi. Hi. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Hello. Oh my God, so many fun people here. Okay, so obviously in the 90-day world, Single Life just premiered, and it's funny because Single Life is premiering, and then Family Day Chantel. I'm gonna have some cheese and bread. Also is happening. I haven't watched Family Day Chantel in a hot ass second, but we are covering Single Life for Docu Sweeties, so I did watch that, and I'm also behind. And I talked about it a little bit with one of the Docu Sweeties, Renee, who might come a little later, about Sister Wives last night in the Patreon live. So, you guys, yeah, let's have a little update of what's been happening with everyone. Okay, so for me, brand new year, obviously, with Wahama, I do Docu Sweeties. So that has happened. We've been covering obviously 90-day stuff, but then the fun ones we recorded recently is if you guys have watched Love Has Won, which was this crazy docu-series about this mother god cult, and then Twin Flames, this other cult. So if you like those docu-series, you know, where we listen to podcasts, we have recaps of those. I cannot believe how long the 90-day toe season was that we just got out of, that we had the 3 tell-alls about, the like Shekinah Sarper tell-all. Like, I can't believe how long that series was. And I know you felt the same way, because when we saw Julio and Kirsten, we were like, you guys, you seem years ago. Anyway, so, and now we're in this weird time where like they haven't played season 10 of regular 90 Day Fiance in a second because of like the holidays. So like Nikki and Justin and Igor, like who knows what's happening with those people? We have no idea. Other things I've watched recently are, I try and watch a lot of stuff with my dad, especially during the holidays. I'm with him. Renee, hi. I just said your name. Anyway, and so because of that, I have to watch something that he enjoys, which is nothing about 90 Day Fiance. And we have to kind of find the things that we both are like into. So like one thing that we're like very much into is like Gilded Age, like hands down, high time for us. But over the holidays, we tried to watch literally the following things I put on. The Ricky Gervais special. Nope. The Dave Chappelle special. Nope. Dad's like, nope. May December, the movie with Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman. Dad's like, no. Saltburn. My dad's like, nope. Maestro. Dad's like, can't deal with that noise. Nose. That's a fake nose. Nope. Like, we got through which was actually very sad, the Anna Nicole Smith docuseries. And now tonight premieres, Friday I think premieres the Gypsy Rose one. Obviously, she just hot out of prison. I mean, and then oh wait, I'm so sorry. Yes, Gypsy Rose has one, and then also I think premieres, but then the Curious Case of Natalie Grace, that girl has her one that's coming out for her point of view for the Curious Case of Natalie Grace. There's like a lot of docu-series, and I kind of like want to try. I want to try and like watch docu-series of famous people where if they are someone who has been taken advantage of and they're specifically female, I want them to produce the docu-series. So, like, I don't want to watch a Pamela Anderson docu-series unless she produced it, which I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole thing I think with Britney. Like, I don't necessarily, at this point, want to watch a Britney Spears docu-series now, unless she's producing it, because then everything it just feels like they're taking advantage of someone. Oh, yeah, if you haven't yet, thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. Oh, I forgot about this. Thumbs it up. 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 I forgot that like the StreamYard does that thing where, yeah, it'll like make things happen for you. So, I've been up to a zillion things. End of the year got crazy for me. I'm happy for a fresh new year ahead, getting a new roof on my house after a tree crashed through it. Just that's crazy. A tree crashed through your roof. Was it like out of the blue, or was it out of the rainstorm? Just kidding. You know what I'm saying? Like, was it like were you in the middle of what I guess I'm asking is, did that tree just fucking have had it, or did that tree like get pushed over by wind and like a storm? Oh, all the rain, but my insurance. Okay, it was just scary because of all the rain. My insurance is going to pay for it. I only have to pay five. Why did I pay 5,000 and then pay the rest? Apparently, it's 90K. Ooh, oh, because your $5,000 deductible. Jesus Christ. Second part, Natalie and Grace. Oh wow, I saw the first one. Can't wait. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know. So, oh, it's a fucking neighbor's tree. That's great. That part's crazy too. Um, I can't get Love After Lockup, which I wish. Oh, Joslo. I know the only ways to watch Love After Lockup, besides buying the all black streaming service, is to like try and watch it within the first 24 hours of it being on YouTube. But in the times in which I've had to do that, it's been absolutely horrible because they cut it in such a way that's like they every 3 frames they change or not the orientation, like the crop of it. And I think it's there to like make the algorithm think that it's not a direct snatch off a TV. But I still have cable, which we'll see how long that happens, which is why I can watch it on cable, which is, I mean, so I literally just like boop, 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 DVR, fast forward commercials. Um, okay. So, it's so funny. Like, don't worry, we'll catch up. We'll talk about stuff, but it's like for this entire past 24 hours, I've been trying, not 24 hours, but I've been trying to like cut together one of those recap reels, of like what happened this year reel. And so I've been doing it in an app called InShot, and it's very difficult. It's not very, it's just like it's very, I'm not, it's hard to do. It's like, it just takes a long time. So I've been going over this year literally in video and pics and, I mean, I can't believe it's had a very full year, so that'll go up and then I can remember everything. But it's been such a good, it's been such a good, like year in kind of just personal growth of moving ahead. And then this past 3 years have been absolute shit for the entire world, So it's so weird, like on a micro level, to be like, well, I'm doing fine. But for the past 3 years on a macro level, we've been going through plagues, like huge conflicts and wars and death, on like the macro level of my own specific business, like whatever Hollywood-esque stuff, like there's been a strike and it's really like obviously made it very hard for people to live and very scary. But so does war make it really hard for people to live and everything. So it's very weird to like kind of go through this and feel obviously weird, incredibly blessed, incredibly grateful that you aren't touched by what could be happening to a lot of like people, and it's really devastating. And then it's kind of sit in that. It doesn't feel like you have a place to like in I don't know. It isn't. It's hard to enjoy things when there's so much happening. You know. I like your hair today. Thank you. You know what? Honestly, I thank you so much. I just got a little darker. I was really blonde for a long time. I'm having a thing right now where you can, I'm always really honest. I really rarely wear makeup, but I love skin so much. But I need you to look. I've been having every winter. I get really bad eczema on my face. Jesus, what a shit show! What a shit show. And so this is just real talk that I get eczema on my face, and that is like the red splotches that you see. Like this is eczema. What red bumps, dry patches. It's like it's interesting because it like me at my means my face is like really dry right now. And that's my own fault, I guess. Like I think that I don't think but the fact that I have to be putting on a lot of lotion all the time in the winter because I am a naturally oily person. So I think that I went through my entire like youth being like, well, she has oily skin, especially in her T zone. So like, we're gonna map that down. We're gonna like, like try and like keep your skin clean. And then in the winter, it's really hard for me to make the transition that I have to like moisture, 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 moisture. So yeah, I have like that's what's happening in my skin. Diet, you say, Lynn J? Yeah, probably not drink as much coffee as I'm drinking and a lot more water. So, let's talk about since obviously 12 minutes in, since we haven't seen each other in a bit. I know, but to what and how can you stop it? Because it could be anything. Like I think that my eczema could be like my OxyClean maybe, but I try and sometimes not use OxyClean, but then sometimes my dad puts it in, and sometimes just like any cleaning product makes my hands go crazy. Sometimes animals make my hand go crazy. I think I'm allergic to everything. My body just betrays me. Anyway, let's go through, talk about all of the coups on the timeline and single life, and then we would have had like a nice update. Where is? Give me a second. Oops. I'm also have gained weight, but I'm trying to get back down. That shit's really fucking hard. And really, for me to get back down, I have to prioritize movement. And one thing that does help that is just like wearing my Apple Watch. Wearing my Apple Watch makes me realize that, like something is tracking me, and also makes me happy when I track a workout with it. So, getting back my Peloton and getting some walking done. Anyway, and also another thing is like, I hate to do this. It's like whatever you have to do that works for you. Certain things are like passe, but one thing that works for me is I have to weigh myself like once a week. I don't want to weigh myself more than that, but I have to be cognizant of how much I weigh. It's very easy for me to like, you know, blink, blink, and like 7 months later, I've gained 20 pounds, so that as well as like mild tracking of food really helps me, like I don't, I think that whatever helps you helps you. And I don't want you to, I don't want to be, and I don't really get like super crazy about portioning and stuff about calories, but I think just to have like a tracking and knowing where you are is always good. Okay, so yes. 90 Day Fiance. Okay, so for Brandon and Mary, 90 Day Fiance, we're going back to toe. Weirdly, when they started, it was like, obviously, you guys are fucking bananas, and, like, they're having him, like, poop on camera and stuff, and she is crazy, and he is crazy, and they have really sad backstories or whatever. But they definitely have a love, and now, like, from that moment to now, I mean, they have a whole ass baby. It feels like, yes, 7 years have happened, and that mom has come a whole way. It's like, do I think that these people are healthy, sane people? Absolutely not. But, like, are most people healthy, sane people? Hell no. Here's something. It is very toxic and also it can be triggering to watch and does feel like inevitably they're in a toxic relationship. But this word toxic is used a lot. And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, how much of relationships are just toxic? They're not on TV though, just for us to see it all. The word toxic can just is used so much that it almost feels like a subjective word for just being negative and or bad. I mean, e- like for instance, or just like disagreeable to you. Oh, hey Jen. Hey everyone. Chris, your cupboard looks cozy. Can you please share the details? Yeah. Um, this is straight up an UGG. Not even duvet, not a duvet on like what Sophie likes, but just a fucking comforter I got from Bed Bath and Beyond from the UGG brand. And it's just like the softest. It's so soft. It was so cheap. So, I mean, just cheap soft. Um, Holly and Wayne. Holly, both Wayne and Holly are like cartoon characters to me. Like he does look like the guy from Incredibles or whatever. And you know, she really my dad's watching TV, it's so loud. She really is just like super princessy in her mind of what she deserves and what she wants, and she seems to go through life like in a little bit of like a mystical haze. It's so specifically Holly doesn't feel grounded at all. But I know that she has to make money and stuff like that. But Holly's entire being and her relationship with her mom and the way that Wayne treats her very much is like the emotional. I'm gonna wait one second. I had to mute myself to tell my dad to be quiet. Um, was Holly like, where was Holly when she was like 15 and 14? And it feels like, why is it that, yes, I mean, Hotel Transylvania. Holly does feel like there's an emotional stuntedness that happened like at a certain age, and we have not been able to like move from that. And somehow her mom knows about it and treats her thusly. And I think that like I will tell you this. I have in my life not been I'm not a delicate person. Like I'm a sensitive person, but I'm not super delicate in that way where I think that people think I'm like an otherworldly mystical creature that must be protected, who like doesn't know her way in the world and like who could break apart and fall at any time. There's a certain energy that is like, and it's funny because oops, that energy can be really attractive to certain guys, which is why they'll never like me. Ha ha ha. And it's fine because I don't also think that like it's emotionally mature to like someone who feels like at any given moment they're about to break. Because what it feels like is then your job is to save them and to make them better, and that feeds you, but you can't save them. You can't make them better. You'll never win, and there'll be resentment. You'll never it's not what feels like a whole person to whole person. The funny thing is, couldn't this be like Brandon and Mary? Like, if you were to say that Mary isn't a whole person in the sense that she's not emotionally mature and breaks down really easily, that's fair to say. She does. And can you say that Brandon maybe feels some type of way in that he can provide a certain amount of comfort or stability for a person like that? Yes. Is that what happened with Holly and Wayne? Yes. Now, someone who is not like that, to me, someone who doesn't feel like they're about to lose their shit and break down at any time unless some quote unquote person takes care of them, would be Shekinah. But Shekinah is willingly and happily, and seems to be, choosing to be in a relationship with someone who she is submitting to. But her submission comes from what feels like a place of choice and strength. Now, I'm not saying it's for everyone. Why would you want Sarper to weigh you every day and tell you how to eat and how to work out? Listen, I'm not saying I want that life, but it does feel like Shekinah is very cognizantly picking it. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's so funny because, and again, I'm not going to say either way that that's they're going to, okay. So when Shekinah goes on, obviously in the tell-all, everyone calls Shekinah toxic. Sarper toxic too. And there's kind of like a toxic back and forth, like pickleball tournament, honey, where it's like, Danielle is like, "You're toxic. No, you're toxic." And it's just like back and forth of like, who's more toxic? And with Danielle and Johan, they have arguably been in what feels like a murky kind of uncomfortable relationship their entire time, where neither of them, maybe more Danielle, but definitely Johan, never felt like he was 100% in and accepting of whatever their relationship arrangement is, right? And we didn't know what the relationship arrangement was for so long, because in the first years of them being on, it's like, oh, Daniela is an American and he, it doesn't have as much money as she does. And she wants to go and live with him there and he wants to go to America, and what does that mean? And then also, then the second time, then it became a lot of like him being like, Danielle, you're really controlling. And we were like, yeah, yeah, no, she totally is. And then the third season happens, and then it's like Danielle is just, a poor woman who fell in love with someone who was like, sold a bill of someone being in love with her, but in fact, he was just using her and only wanted her because of the fact that he thought an American wife was going to either take him to America or give him money and fancy things. Why is that I mean, I don't know. It feels to me that that relationship was never on any sort of footing where they understood or accepted or knew each other in any way. So, I mean, I guess to say it's like, I don't necessarily think that Danielle is right over Shekinah. And I don't understand why they don't say this. Like, why they're like, Shekinah, how could you allow him to control everything everything you're doing? And like, why do you think that it's not toxic? And I don't understand why Shekinah isn't like, oh, it's because I'm choosing it. I want it. No, I know he is. I've chosen this way. Oh, we're like, mildly into dom sub shit. He's my dom. And if you kink shame me, I don't know who you think you are. Because you can't kink shame in 2023. We're choosing to, as consenting adults, to live our lives where this man tells me what to do in a way that makes me feel like he cares and loves me because that is how I perceive it to be. And then Holly is like, oh, me too, I love the way he does it too. Like, I feel like Holly's problem with Wayne is that she is not provided and protected the way that she wanted to be. I hate to say it. She doesn't feel protected. She feels like she's scared. And she doesn't feel provided because whatever reason she can't do social things there and or she can't get the drugs she wants there and or there's not light there all the time. I mean, that's what that is. And I think a lot of what Wayne and his like kind of like anger towards her is a couple of things. Well, A, because I don't think they even knew each other at all. Do I have a hair tie there? No, I don't. A, because they didn't know each other at all and they were like, I think in some sort of weird religious like a cosplay thing together. And B, because on national television, people are telling him that like his situation, his living situation is not ideal, especially for Americans who have grown accustomed to such things like power. This sucks, right? Because like no one wants to hear like you're not doing things right. And this man is like, I try and I have a business and I've said and I have a house for her and I put in the security things and like I did my best. What does more does she want? And the truth is, oh, she wants it and she wants to feel like the way she felt in America, which is really, really protected in a sense that she feels safe and that she has things to do. You know, like if you got a little pet, you can't just keep the pet in a dark room. Thanks God. You'd have to like get the pet some play toys. Maybe bring another pet in. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not saying that Holly is a pet, but what I'm trying to say is that in this world, I think of what they wanted, he didn't do his part of like being able to give her what I think she wanted, and but her, I don't know also what he expected and what she did. Like, let's just say, because I don't know like Jehovah's Witnesses, but like they seem to be in like some sort of like old school shit. So like, is she cooking Jehovah's Witness food? Like is she making like family meals? I'm not quite sure. Shekinah's sister spilled the tea that she is a deadbeat mom. Wow, that's real fucking messy. Deadbeat mom. Now, they made it seem like she obviously they showed has her baby daddy is like this rich fucking guy that gave her whatever she wanted for the daughter but didn't want any part of raising the daughter. And Shekinah was only too happy to have her daughter willingly want to go to boarding school. You know, and here's the rub. As much as I would love to pretend that I'm fucking old money from the East Coast, honey, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So my whole life, I don't know about boarding school. No one in my life went to boarding school. I don't know anyone that went to boarding school. I know one friend, one cousin friend, one person in the family that had some behavior issues in their past who I think, yes, went off to boarding schools, but the boarding schools were like disciplinary style fucking schools. And so my life isn't the knowledge of boarding schools, but I do know that there's an entire culture of boarding schools that I'm just not privy to, whether they're like East Coast or whatever. But Shekinah's from the West Coast. It seems like that daughter was born on the West Coast. And it is just surprising that like, I don't know, we don't live, yeah. The South, unless you're again like super European or something, you have an other culture happening. Usually Southern California kids don't go to boarding school. There's just a lot of schools here. I would love a gym trainer type guy to make up my workouts for me, but I'd be so annoyed at focusing on just the number for weight instead of the entire picture of overall health and fitness. Yeah, I get that. I do too. But I think that Shekinah is someone who already weighs herself every day. Don't you? So during the tell all, when Sarper gives her the list of things he wants her to do, which is like, hey girl, don't wear too much makeup, don't overline your lips, sit up straight, you know, don't eat too many carbs at the lunch and or pick a picture or send a picture of what you want and I'll pick for you. She's only too happy to have that. She's only too happy. She's like, okay, 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 okay. Now, spoiler alert, you can see this or if you listen to the Docu Sweeties podcast. Wow, I motherfucking love that. In that, do you, and I will say that I understand the concept of being in a relationship with someone where you're like, you know what? It overwhelms me sometimes. Small decision making. And so, in order to move on in my day, it makes me feel good to have more than one opinion about things so I can just get things through. It's not that I want someone to tell me what to eat all the time. I absolutely do not. But like, I am someone who will like ask a person their opinion about a mundane thing in my life because I don't like making decisions all the goddamn time. I think that I'm like reading what you guys are saying. It's so funny. You can love a train and pit. I think he thinks of her that way. I just, the Holly Wayne Shekinah Sarber situation during the tell-all was so interesting. And then like on the other side, of course, is Danielle and Johan and Kimberly and TJ and maybe like Tanya and Asuelu, or I mean, and Kalani. Now, I hate to say this because all those people in the relationships are much older. None of those people are in relationships. At least not the well. Kalani's now in a relationship with Dallas. But you know what I'm saying? Like Shekinah and Sarper have been in a relationship for like a hot ass minute now. It's very interesting, like how people define their relationships, what people want, and how people put on others how they should live, and what's right for them, what's right for others, and what is considered toxic and what is someone else's own choice. And the truth is, I think it's a fucking gray area. Because I understand why people could sit here and be like, well, Shekinah is being controlled. Shekinah is in a disgusting, masochistic relationship with a guy who hates women, and she, like is addicted to plastic surgery and fake looking, and he's fake looking, and they're just, like whatever you could say about them. I'm saying they seem matched though. Don't they seem matched? Like, you don't have to like everyone. You don't have to like every relationship, but their relationship doesn't not make sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Some relationships make no sense. I'll tell you whose relationship makes no sense to me, TJ and Kimberly. Yet, Renee can tell me TJ is in America. Kimberly, for some reason, decided to move to India without caring or respecting the entire culture that she moved into, or knowing, caring, researching, knowing, liking, having any affinity or warmth to, respecting. I mean, this part will always be crazy to me. And I mean, this, Jenny, having Jenny come in and like be able to talk about this is so interesting. Yeah. Kimberly know that she's going to move to India, know that she's going to move in to this family's house, know she's going to get married and that she's not planning the wedding. And I wonder what the fuck she did for all the months before she moved there. Like, what was I wanted like I feel like what they never asked her is Kimberly, straight up. What did you expect? What did you think was going to happen? How did you think your days were going to go? What did you think your responsibility would be? Kimberly, can you give us, in your words, what are some of the differences between the Indian culture and American culture in relationship to familial living? Do you can you name some? Like, I just on God's green earth, I just cannot believe that there are so many. This is another thing about you know about this. You know, okay, sorry, let me say it, and then you know this about me. I hate it. Another thing about Kimberly, another thing about fucking Danielle is that and Tanya are that there seems to be the influencer slash clairvoyant spiritual guru aspect that these women really want to peddle for wares and money from us. From us. We have women on TV, and what they are saying is their expertise in this world. What they think we should give them our hard earned money for is their guidance for spiritual either awakening or depth or IQ or maturity. These people. Okay, I love women. So I'm going to hold and say this. This feels like we don't have any of these types. But you know how in like the Instagram influencer world, if you are a man, like if you are a cisgender straight man and you really want to be disgusting, your whole thing can be this like influx of how to make money for like dudes, which is like the passive income of whatever weird like entrepreneurial men shit that like men do on Instagram to make money, which is like selling courses on real estate or selling courses on, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm talking about. It's like the subsect of dumb, bro-ish fucking dudes who find like dumb, bro-ish dudes to sell their secrets to be online millionaires, right? And all of the postings on like if you go to one of these guys' Instagram page, it's going to be the exact same postings, right? It's going to be block letters, color blocks, block letters against white and black. It's going to be fancy cars, you know, it's like them showing off, you know, it's going to be fancy cars and the male versions of like the Kylie, you know, Rolex against the Bentley or Porsche steering wheel, like a bunch of like that, like new money-esque pictures with the idea of like with this hustler cell. It's like that's okay. So that archetype, that's like a very disgusting snake oil salesman geared towards like fast riches for a dumb guy is the same to me as the snake oil salesman of this kind of like spiritual guru, like wellness lady who's like the you know she's going to have crystals and she's going to have she's going to talk about the full moon and here I fucking love moons, by the way. I love moons, and she's going to talk about all that, and it's like there's going to be, because there always are, sad people on the internet that want something, and like if we're talking about those dumb dudes, it's like money, and we're talking about this situation, it's probably love or an idea of community where like Danielle is selling retreats which she talks about. Danielle talks about the fact with Johan that she gets women to give her a fucking bunch of money to go somewhere and go on a resort somewhere, who knows where, and like do yoga. And I guess the whole time Johan's like, let's fucking fuck behind her back, like that's what she is making people pay money for. She doesn't know what the fuck's happening at her retreats. Her own husband's fucking people. Why are anyone giving this woman money? Why is anyone giving her money? Why is anyone giving Kimberly money? How come Kimberly's gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, I'm really intuitive, just like I know what's happening in this world. I'm just like, I'm connected, honey. It's just me and this universe really vibing. No, it's me. I mean, her whole like demeanor really feels like she thinks that she can do no wrong. Like in her mind, she does feel like she's got a fucking direct link. So when her like really shitty behavior happens and people are like, no, you fucking don't, like she comes at that, those clips of her screaming and whatnot with this ultra defensive behavior. And she couldn't look dumber. She just looks like a, I mean, it's so funny. She looks like the most Karen of, she's a Karen, isn't she? She's like an entitled Karen. She's entitled. She has the personality of someone that would have a fucking meltdown like at an American Airlines desk. And then like try and pretend that she was the victim. Hi Shay, it's rainy. I'm so happy to see you guys. So anyway, I don't know why TJ stays. And I unfortunately feel like the fact that TJ's staying for how hot he is makes me feel like it's a nefarious reason, like because he wants fame. Okay, so I mean, I don't want to tell you about Julio and Kirsten. We're not gonna talk about them. I don't care about them. I don't care about Kenny and Armando either. And again, it's not that I have nothing against them. Julio and Kirsten, I just don't care about Julio. Kirsten's fine. She just wasn't that exciting. And they, again, were on like the first part of the season, which happened 9 years ago. And so we can't talk about them. Kenny and Armando are a nice couple. Really sweet, great people. I like them a lot. I want the best for them. And I feel like the best for them is not on this fucking toxic ass show. Even though I get it, the producers love Kenny so much, they're going to bring out Kenny for everything. And Kenny, yes, babe, like, Kenny is nice. Kenny's not funny. And so producers, I know it's hard. I know. But the thing that we want the most is a funny character. It's why we love like Johnny, like candlesticks, or like these. We want funny characters. We want people that are going to say something funny or whatnot. Like people that are too negative and are too mean, like we don't even like them. And so why like Angela is like fucking too much. Like I get it's hard, but you have to find people that are funny. Even Andre will be funny, like. But Kenny is not funny. Neither is Tim. And so the producers just loving Kenny and Tim is just like not for me. Okay, so trying to think. I feel like I talked about all of them. Well, Danielle and Johan, I don't know what to tell you about other than just the fact that it's funny because I think that she was like, I'm going to like let it be known everything he's done to me. I'm going to come with receipts. And the craziest part was that she said that they had dinner all together with his family 2 weeks ago. Which every time the tell-all progressed, I keep thinking to myself, bitch, you've been knowing all the things that you're telling us, like the receipts, how he tried to fuck the person at the resort, all this, or you've been knowing all of that. And you still went to dinner with him 2 weeks ago? Why? And it's weird because it's like, I'm not weird, but let me say this. If the situation was reversed and Danielle was a man, an older man, and Johan was a young girl, and Johanna, Johanna had been like, I really just want a rich American. You're not giving me enough, and I'm still trying to. And Johanna had like stolen money from Daniel, and all of that. If after all of this, we had found out that Daniel had then taken Johanna out to dinner, we'd all be like, oh, he just wants to bang her again. He doesn't give a fuck. And he deserves everything he gets. That's what we would say. We'd be like, yeah, he knows what he's doing. But we never tell Daniela that. Tim's too negative. Glass half empty at all times. He sucks the joy out. Yeah, it is remarkable. Tim's energy is just really dry and very boring. And he looks like the pickup fucking artist, like yeah, he's not, I mean, he's just not funny. He's just not interesting. Okay, let's move on. Ashley and Manuel. So Ashley also peddles herself as a witch and a tarot card reader and can help answer some of your questions and bring in the love. I will say this. Do you think that Ashley and Manuel have the propensity to have more love between them than Danielle and Johan for being American spiritual women, with men from, different countries south of us? And I would say that I think they do, but I cannot. I also like whether the producers have made it so. I don't see Manuel showing up in a way that makes me feel like he's taking the relationship seriously. And a lot of that has to do with how secretive he is with his family and stuff like that, and like the kids and stuff like that. Because I can't imagine a world in which I think I'm going to spend the rest of my life with someone and not introduce them to the many kids I have or my. Johan and Danielle aren't in an age gap relationship. It's like 8 to 9 years. Both are over 30. Hmm. They're in love, you think? Yeah. Or definitely in lust. Um, let's see. Jasmine and Gino. What do you think? I mean, this is hard because we just came off of Jasmine and Gino. We went from Jasmine and Gino to more Jasmine and Gino. So by the time that we're now talking about Jasmine and Gino, Jasmine, they're like mildly unwatchable because it keeps being the same thing, which is that she gets upset over something and then she wants to go home and they cry and they fight and then they get back together. But because it really does feel so staged, so contrived. And also like yeah, it's it's a hard she's a hard one. They're both hard to watch. They're hard to watch. Because we know so much, we know too much about them and how she acts and things like that. So even when we're given like Jasmine scenes with her son and we're supposed to, I think, feel bad for Jasmine because she's crying and talking about how she thinks that she's a bad mom and how she doesn't want to fuck up her son. Like she's crying about that in this season. And we're all supposed to be like, no, Jasmine, don't cry about that. It's not true. When of course we're all like, bitch, you're aware? Bitch, you're aware that you could be fucking up your son and you're still doing it? You're still like on TV screaming your fucking head off and then being like, I don't want to hurt my son. I wonder, so me having said that, we're intelligent people. So the producers put that scene in because seemingly there will be people that watch and either haven't watched her before or watched her before, but like her enough that when they see this sad scene, they feel bad for her. Like, is the point of the scene to give her humanity, like a side of her humanity being shown that like makes us feel empathy for her? Are there people that feel empathy for her in that moment? Like, no, no, Jasmine, don't worry about it. You are a good mom. He doesn't think that. Because I think that when we get through this like gray area of like what's unwatchable and what's too much, to me, I hate to say this, we should never hear about her kids ever again. Because every time we're reminded that she does have kids and she either cares about them or pretends to care about them, we hate her more. Just like we don't care about Gino. There I don't care about Gino's self-esteem or his bank account at all. I don't think that Jasmine is manipulating him out of money. I think that he knows I don't feel any think that they're kind of shitty people that are just on TV for more than one season. And I think that what needs to happen is just like a very specific producer move that they can tell that even if a couple put in some good ratings, keep them on the fucking back burner for a goddamn second. Because the minute that like a Jasmine realizes that they're going to be like a villain, they turn that shit up so much that it becomes again like fake and unwatchable. And I feel like if the producers knew that Gino and Jasmine were good and were like, yeah, 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 let him come back again for like something that makes sense, like the regular, when she gets here or something like that. Like, don't have him go back or whatever. I think that if it slowed the roll down, it would have been a little bit easier to digest their segments. Again, the producers have to like not reward those that come in over the top and like blow up things in a very specifically fake way and make sure their work is finding good new people. Because there is a part of 90 Day Fiance that is a little bit like an MLM, right? Because you have to have more people come. You can't just keep doing all the old couples. Yes, the older couples get more money, but you need new, fresh people to come in, which means at some point it's going to implode because they would have I mean, that's what happens to MLMs. Hi, Lisa. If she gave a shit about the kids, she'd be spending the money on them. That part. Like that part. Like, her kids don't live with her. This entire time, she's been parading around in different expensive apartments with that one sister of hers while her kids live somewhere fucking else. And she just keeps spending all this money on different ugly, ugly plastic surgery enhancements for her. And then we have to have a conversation again where she calls her son and is like, I hope I'm not a bad mom. Like, I guess we're talking about it and that's why they're showing it. But and they don't care whether it's hate watching or not, I guess. It's just so vile. Okay, Sophie and Rob. Honey, Rob the knob. I mean, yeah, this feels also, of course, very fake. It feels like two people that want to be. It feels like very like Miona and Jibri. It feels like two people who know they can get famous from being on the show. And the only thing about, Jibri seemed crazy, and Miona and Jibri now are like, like supposedly broken up, and she's supposedly dating someone else, and he's supposedly on some hunger strike in the middle of like who knows where. And like, I mean, I think on the Docu Sweetie's Instagram, we follow him, and I had to like mute his posts because they would just keep coming in with him talking directly to the camera in his feed, bananas, talking about whatever the fuck it is. And he just seems like he is cuckoo, honey, cuckoo, cuckoo. And I mean, yeah, I can't, cuckoo energy also gives me a lot of anxiety. Just like makes your nerves on end. I feel bad for Sophie for lots of reasons, but like, she got a lot of like crazy hate, mostly because she came in with arguably the worst fucking wigs in the world. The world she came in with the worst wigs and also was like, I'm rich. Which no, we both know that if you are rich, that like odds are certain things are on point if you care about them. Sophie obviously cares about aesthetics. Obviously. So if Sophie was rich, her aesthetics would be mildly top tier. Whether they were your choice or your taste, sure not, but top tier in some ways, right? There were a bunch of fucking red flags whether Sophie was rich. Her mom, the way she talked, the way her mom talked, her mother, the way they looked, the way they talked. The mom, the way that they looked, and the sound of their voice is what I'm saying were all the reasons why we knew they were not rich. Now, I hate saying that because I don't want to like poor shame someone, but it's like if you tell me that you are rich and if you tell me you are from the UK, Britain, England, I need you to know that like for us Americans and or just people like that means a whole ass fucking thing. It means that you A could possibly be old money. Which is just like a different stratosphere of things we know. Like, is your dad in court? I don't know what the fuck, like not like a law court, like the court of the king. I don't know what the fuck, like I'm American, like a little bit, whatever it is. She, everything about Sophie is fake. She is much younger than Nikki, but did everything. I mean, like top to bottom, changed her whole fucking face, like with injectable fillers and shit. Like this is different. Everything is different. And the filler and work is, I mean, it's not old money. So I do think that and I mean this, I think that Sophie dated someone that funded a complete fucking makeover of her. And probably at that point in her life, she having come into some money from someone she was dating, considered this life that she now lives to be rich. And that's why she's rich. Because her mom isn't. I mean, are they, unless you tell me they fucking won the lotto yesterday and they're just, I mean, like, no one that, whatever. So she's coming in, honey, and then like her whole thing is that she, for some reason, is with Rob, even though he has nothing and she's rich and he lives in a place with not even like a shared bathroom. I mean, it's a shared bathroom. It's not an individual bathroom. He, I think that he's like 32 or whatever. Like, he is a good looking man. And so, because of the fact that he's a good looking man and he has not like acquiesced enough things in his life to like, or acquired enough things in his life, to be able to provide like a bathroom for her to get ready in, knowing that he only wants to date quote unquote aesthetically pleasing, attractive ladies is fucked up for him. It's a fucked up thing because he is so very, very humble. No, he's so very specific that he wants to date a hot lady because he's hot. It's just so like, do you think that yeah, I just it's yeah. He thinks that he's hot enough that he can pull a hot lady and doesn't need and they don't need anything. They can just live on their looks together. The funny thing is he's not living off of his looks. That's the other thing. Like for being, like hot and biracial and like of a specific age group, to me, I'm like, you should be booking like every fucking print job, every fucking commercial. Don't you know how to goddamn drink a Pepsi? I mean, why aren't you making money? He could have taken an improv class, honey, and like booked 3 national commercials if he put any sort of foresight or thought or energy into his career. That's how crazy it is. I mean, to my point, I'm like, I don't think he even drives for Uber. How do you have no money? Why not get a roommate? I don't even fucking know. But Sophie having coming out to this and being like, oh, this is what it is. And then him cheating on her and then like her saying yes and her saying she doesn't know what to do. It's very obvious that her that she desires to live in Los Angeles, and this is her way to do so. And so that's why she doesn't want to give it up. And it's why she's on the show. The best thing that could possibly happen for the rest of the storyline would be like if she just ends up hooking up with that one friend of hers and then like leaves Rob to hang out with his dumb friend who like thinks women are so crazy. Nikki and Igor slash Justin. Ugh. She's been on every reality show. So again, someone who just is like wants to be on TV, and wants to be on TV and has had pretty much the exact same story and or conflict every episode, which is I want to be with this guy. This guy's younger than me. This guy's hot. Well, does this guy want to be with me? Does he want to fuck me? Does this guy want to be with me? Does he want to fuck me? Does this guy want to be with me? Does he want to fuck me? It's like, and then everything layered on top is like her being trans and like, like her age and her like being older and what it looks like in Moldova or people thinking that, that she's just an older lady, but I mean, like everything is just trying to like see if she passes and not knowing exactly what. And then like, it's again, the Nikki and Igor thing isn't a fun watch. And the weird thing is that it has a lot of opportunity to be a fun watch. But they're produced horribly. It's this thing where it's funny because like if you were to think about being an actor and then having a character and doing a play or doing a show and you have like 5 scenes in the show or whatever, like and your character goes on a fucking arc, you know what I'm saying? You would have a director who's like, okay, so in this scene this is like percolating or whatever, and this scene this is happening or whatever, but you wouldn't just, if let's just say it was a dramatic thing, you wouldn't come into every scene screaming, like you wouldn't come into every scene crying, like no one wants to see it. Like a little like acting thing is like, think of it, you don't want to see a character crying every scene. What's in fact incredibly engaging to watch, more so, is someone trying desperately to get what they want despite what's in their way, which sometimes is their own emotions betraying them or something like that, and so to watch someone hold back tears is usually incredibly more engrossing than watching someone just break down without, especially if that moment wasn't earned or warranted. I'm so sorry. This is like weird technical stuff that they'll give for acting. And what I'm trying to say is it's like I want the producers of 90 Day to come at scenes with this idea of like, if this I cannot see someone cry and scream every fucking scene. I need to watch things percolate. I need to watch them try and hide it. I need to watch them be strong on top of it so that when the moment comes, it means a whole lot more. But yeah, like jazz, so yeah, so having that Jasmine's unwatchable. And I think Nikki is too. Like Nikki crying and screaming at him about whether he's going to fuck her or not. And the sound of her voice in those moments isn't pleasing to the ear or to the soul. It's grating, like it's grating. That's why you can't hear it, like this is just like simple, this is audio shit that like is the nuance of sound design and stuff when it comes to storytelling. Um, I don't know if Nikki really is this way or not, but the way they're presenting her story, they're making her look desperate and just totally awful. I know. I know. It's making her look so like not powerful at all. Like half of me is like, okay, so another thing about Nikki, which is like they've kind of hinted at it, but it's like Nikki also, I think, has a whole other like alter ego like Nikki Exotica, right? And like I don't know for sure, but Nikki Exotica to me feels a little bit like Erica Jane, right? Like of Real Housewives. I almost want to be like, can we cut to Nikki being in Moldova and then having a night of like Nikki Exotica somewhere, like in the sense of does she perform? Like, is Nikki Exotica a trans performer that maybe she sings? I'm not quite sure. Or a little pop art? Is she a pop singer? Like, give us something else. Give us a win for her. Let us see Nikki being like, you know what? I've been really feeling like I don't know myself, or I don't feel like I'm in my power. I don't feel like I can, and I'm going to do something for myself. And he shows up or whatever. Not like give us something else along this storyline. Like they haven't. I know it's weird. It's like what I feel like they're going to give us is, I'm assuming, like someone for him to flirt with in front of her and then for her to be screaming at him about. The truth of the matter is this. I right now am a little black and white in that I don't think that there's a world in which an Igor or Justin is going to give her sexually what she wants to be given if he hasn't yet already. I think people usually give up sexuality in a certain way unless it's like something about them that they struggle, or not struggle with, but they have a thing about. What I'm trying to say is unless Igor or Justin was soups Christian and wasn't going to have sex until a certain time, or whether they hadn't had sex yet and we knew that he was a virgin or whatever, but like we know those things not to be true. So for him not to right now, having been with her this amount of years, having seen her, and for him to have any questions about whether he can sexually be with her at this point doesn't bode well. If it's not now, it's not going to happen. You can't talk someone into having sex with you. Nor should you need to, nor should you want to. Because I think that there's a beauty to if you want to wait and think, or, if you want to be patient in the building of a sexual relationship with someone, I think there's a really beautiful thing to making sure you both feel safe and secure and attached and connected, right? But no shame. If you also want to fucking get fucked, like do you? But in this situation, they're in a relationship and he is sexually active. If he at this point cannot be sexually active with this person, it's never going to work. I don't think so, because I don't think he said enough times that he, like, has a mental thing where he doesn't where, what I don't know, it just feels like it feels to me that if he's having an issue now and he's known her for a very long time, that if there is a chance for him not to have an issue, that later on with someone else, and he will take that because it will be something that he wants to do without question. And I don't think that's going to bode well for Nikki. He may still be a little mad. Oh, totally. I don't think that he wants to have sex with her. I really, really, really think that, like, he enjoyed having her and having, someone be into him as well as someone giving him money. Listen, his nose looks great. His nose looks great. She paid for that nose job, honey. It looks fucking great. I mean, look, whatever she did, whatever she told him, because she's like a plastic surgery consultant, to do, he's done. Like the nose job, whether there's filler in the jaw. I mean, he's a hot looking person with a very Soto, voice, very like this, so I just, I think that he's using her, and I think that she knows it, and so she keeps baiting him to, like, sort of admit that he's not sexually into her or can't remedy in his own mind that to act on his sexual urges. It's either way, right? Like either he can and he has an issue, or you know, can't. And but I just even if he has an issue, and that's what I'm saying, he does at this point. I think that if he's given the opportunity to not have an issue with someone else, he's going to take it. Yeah. Okay. So, Clayton and Annalie. Man, she does not like him, honey. That Annalie does not like her. She does not like Clayton at all. And Clayton's weird. Clayton is like Nikki. Someone who is obviously with someone who does not want to be with them sexually and is so mad about it that that person just keeps yelling them about it. Nikki will do it in front of like his friends, and so will Clayton will do it in front of his friends. Clayton will like go to his friends and be like, "Can you believe she's not fucking me?" Anyway, nice to meet you. I'm Clayton, best friend. I mean, that's crazy. Clayton, you know, it's funny. Clayton does not want to admit that living with his mom is a boner kill and like not the look. I want a conversation with Clayton's mom. I want a conversation with Clayton's mom where we're like, girl, A, you have to fucking throw some shit away. Come on. And the other thing I want to say is you do know you're gonna die in that closet. Also, don't you kind of think you're hampering your son's style? Like, do you feel selfish, girl? Do you think that maybe you should just try and like get your life together a little bit? Like, what's been happening in your life? You got to throw some of this shit away or sell it and move yourself into a single so that you can allow your son to someday have adult relationships. You know what I'm saying? Anna Lee just feels like, oh, I met American guy that speaks okay Spanish, I guess I'll run with it. I mean, I don't think there's ever gonna be a good sign that you lie to someone, like your family, that you're dating someone else. And it's always so interesting when this is like the Manuel thing with Ashley, and also, and obviously, like there was a couple of this, like Thais did this to Patrick, and obviously Annalise doing this with Clayton. I cannot imagine, and I'm a prideful bitch, dating someone who that person is like, yeah, I cannot tell my parents about you. They're just not gonna like it. So I choose, okay, you're right. I can see why that'd be a problem. Me and everything I represent. I can see that. And I'm okay with you keeping me hush. I don't care about my life and myself. I don't have any self-respect for me or whatnot. If someone felt like I was to be hidden from their life and not worthy to be like discussed in their life and or not a good thing in their life, not a positive thing in their life, it's like the biggest red flag possible. What the fuck's happening in your life that you A have no control, or B you're just like flying by the seat of your pants, or C the idea of me in your life is negative, already shitty. I think that's like it's a hard thing, but there's the ways in which you realize to someone else that the idea of you in their mind has a negative connotation. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be able to remedy it. Like I would, yeah. There's no. It's like too much of my pride. Like I'm just like, oh, if the idea of having me in your life isn't a celebratory great thing, if you're going to treat me like I am like to be put in the basement as if I'm not fucking great, you're gone. You are gone. If I, and this is true, if in social situations I realize someone does not have a positive idea of me, I will try and reflect on how that could be. But if I come to the decision that it's something within them that has labeled me negative in their mind, I will cut them out of my life like a fucking cancer. It's something that I do. It's like that's what it is. Like trying to like have a specific example for you. Here's one. Perfect. Years ago, I had a very close friend. His very closest friend and their significant other. Their significant I thought I was. Their significant other unfollowed me on Instagram, and I found out it's because they both thought I was too much. And I realized as I observed their behavior that they had labeled me in their mind as being not great, not good, not like not positive in their mind. And I know that I had done nothing to them. And so when I heard that this person thought that I was too much, what sat in me was the idea that this person felt that they were too little. I sort of magnified that feeling they already had within them. So my presence now in that person's life was negative. It's like a weird thing where I was like, oh, once I realized that, there's no getting over it. I can't be around you. There's like this because I can feel like a secret energy of someone's envy or someone's negativity towards me. And once I can like feel it, you're gone. It's you're I mean, and I want and I feel like this is black and white, and you can tell me this is bad to do. But the truth of the matter is I don't care because I don't feel like I want to be around people who want me to dim my light, and or I want to be around people who make me feel good and who I make feel good. I specifically, and I mean this, desire to make people feel good. Maybe that's like also not what it is like one of my chief like desires in in company or whatever to make everyone feel good. Like it's to a detriment. It's been a problem of mine. I like energetically like take on a lot to like make everyone feel good. And so in this moment, I'm telling you the story of like feeling like, oh, I could feel now this specific person, like I was never going to be that for that person. And once I realized that, taking myself out of the social situations of being around that person was easy. And it felt like a save for myself. Extra is why we love Chris. It only means that you feel like you took the weight away from them. So, honey, too much for some. It's a big world. You know that you are loved, so best to focus. Oh yeah, better than ever bad thing. Never change for someone. Please be yourself. Yes, yes, yes. You know, you have to take care of yourself, and not everyone wants the best for you. And also the things that you do, like are yours, and people are going to take them, you know, to mean something for them as well. I don't know the answer of how you can really be on top of being mindful of your own actions and behaviors and how you come across and what you can do to make sure that you are giving like a really warm, authentic, healthy, and kind version of yourself, and how you can like protect yourself against those who might be envious and or mean spirited towards you and or have problems within themselves where your wins will make them feel shitty. It's that kind of stuff. I think it's like we get older, we have to save ourselves from those moments, and it can be a little murky of finding out what's real, what's not. um anyway, my god. Oh, and Devin and Nick, honey. Devin and Nick and his little piggy. I mean, I don't know what to tell you about that one. It's like they're not a very interesting couple in that she, which she has said off camera, she hated the entire, okay, Devin hated the entire experience of 90 Day Fiance. That's what it feels like. She was like, I gained a bunch of weight. They'd make me shoot things. It was incredibly stressful. I fucking hated it. She says she hated it. She was tired the entire time. They were just like going back and forth on these like long, trips, and just she was miserable. And she looks at this and she looks it, she sounds it, she barely talks. She seems so sad the entire time. Nick's fine. But it definitely feels like if Nikki and Igor have the like conflict of whether he's going to fuck her to her liking or not, the entire Devin Nick thing is Nick calls Devin fat. He calls her piggy. That's the word. Nick calls Devin piggy as a love nickname. But boy, is that different in American culture. That's what it means. That's what it is. A lot of that. I guess in my mind, I'm like, we couldn't do anything else with them. She has no like boyfriends that we can talk about, like he has no girlfriends. There's no like fun Australian people we can fly out from, like I mean, I don't know. I just feels like it just feels boring, doesn't it? Mm. It also, I guess, with her specifically, she seems to be so unhappy the entire time to be filmed that it feels almost like I'm assaulting someone. Nicole also felt like she didn't want to be filmed as much, but she kept showing up in a way that like felt like she was trying to work this out with us. Devin feels like they've had to like chain her to the scene. Um, okay. Did you guys, last but certainly not least, did you guys watch the premiere of Single Life? Did you? Does anyone listen to Kate Casey's podcast, Reality Life with Kate Casey? If you do, you know I gave her a little voice note about this season, or the first episode that I watched. But let's get into it. So Natalie is crazy. I know it. I know it. I'm happy she's on it though. Well, first of all, let's start. We can start. We can start with Natalie. Natalie's been living in St. Petersburg, Florida, honey, like doing whatever Natalie can do. The last we picked up a Natalie, she was like, the Josh thing and the Michael thing. She, we get this, we get this moment where I think it's that we're supposed to be getting Matt sharped, by having her in an airport and being like, oh, I'm so excited they're finally here and I can't wait for this person to be here. And there is not a person in this room who doesn't know immediately who it is. But for some reason, they're making it seem like it could be anyone. It could be. In my mind, I guess they think it's supposed to be Michael because we've only met like a couple of people in Natalie's life. There's only her mom and Michael and Josh, and so I think in this, we're supposed to be thinking that it's going to be either Michael or Josh. When we know it's not Josh, Josh would never go to Florida for her. He doesn't even want her to be in LA, but whatever, God bless. Michael is who we're, I guess, supposed to be thinking is going to come off this plane. But we know because of the war and everything who it is, and it's her mom. Her mom comes off this plane, and her mom fully got a blowout. Or someone, like a little Dyson air wrapped her, honey. I mean, on that plane, honey, because when Natalie's mom comes off with those glasses and her hair done, it's a different Natalie's mom. Natalie sets up for us. Listen, I'm not going to lie. A great conflict, like a lot of great conflict. So where I made fun of the producers before, here is where I will give them fucking hats off. Yes, we know that there is a douche named Josh, Josh douche, who is some modeling agent CEO. Okay, I'm pausing for comedic effect because, okay, who she met, who they're in a relationship with, I guess, or whatever, and he, the entire time, is just a fuckboy. Has always been a fuckboy. Always to her. Has never given her one morsel of stability or like claim. He has never claimed her, doesn't want anything to do with her, other than we'll use her to be on this show. And like, I don't know, maybe she gives him like a very frenetic, chaotic hand job every now and then. I'm not quite fucking sure. But one of the like chef's kiss conflicts is that Natalie turns to her mom and is like, oh, guess what? We're going to go and move to LA. Don't worry, mom. Josh will take care of everything. Yes, Josh will take care of all of it. Josh is going to get me a job, modeling, acting work, because I'm going to be a famous Los Angeles actress now. And Josh is going to get us an apartment. This person who like won't spend like more than 2 nights with you in a row. Natalie's mom loves her some Michael. Loves Michael. Michael came to Ukraine. Michael's like, Michael did spend more time with Natalie. Michael was like, move into this house, like, I want to know where you at every day. Like, Natalie was like, absolutely not. Hates Michael, wanted to leave, squim, whatever, wants to be a famous actress. Thinks that Josh is hot and thinks that those muscles are muscling or whatever. So Natalie's mom hates the fact that she doesn't get to be with Michael, loves Michael. The best thing happens, which is that They land at LAX. Natalie's mom is the tiniest Eastern European woman, right? Very tiny woman from a war-torn country who's like seen it all, coming here to get the fuck away. Josh, in typical laissez-faire Western West Coast, I don't know dating. I don't know how to like, I don't know exactly what it is. The laziest. It's like if I find a word to describe what Josh is, other than fuckboy and other than just like n- not serious, you can tell me, but just doesn't come to the airport. Now, I would love to know exactly what was like what was said. Was I do feel like he said, "I'll come get you from the airport." Now, whether he said that and whether she heard it, directly is one thing. Whether she wanted it to be real and then he was like, maybe I'll see what I can do. And then the day of was like, I'm not going to make it. It's quite another. He definitely is not a rich enough or quality, or he's not a rich enough or classy enough gentleman or rich enough for being ahead of a whole modeling thing to even have the decorum to like send a little help for Natalie and her like aging mom. Listen, I think that it would have been very classy to have a man standing there with Natalie's name to help Natalie and her like aging war torn refugee mom help with their bags. But the like the idea of that, of taking care of someone like that, of like protecting and providing for someone like that, is not where Josh's mind's at. Never, not ever. And Natalie is coming from like a very Eastern European way of like dating, which is, I'm going to pout and be like a pretty woman, and you are going to give me what I want. I'm not saying that's the Eastern European way of dating, but it's a specific kind of Eastern European way that I have seen of dating, and that's specifically the Natalie way. It's this, I'm going to pout and I'm going to get it or whatever, but it's not working for her. So what we do see is that Natalie's mom is like so fucking pissed that this man has like left them to the wolves with their own bags, which, it's funny because it's like, as modern American women, we're like, oh, it's like, no, and listen, I am not accustomed to men helping me with my bags in such a way, like sending me drivers and stuff like that. I'm not accustomed to it, please. But if I was dating someone and on a television show and this person knew me and my like war torn refugee parent was like coming off a plane and my parent could like literally carry 4 pounds at a time, I would like to think this person would show like class, decorum, and care for my situation. And that's obviously not what's happening. Okay. Natalie's idea of what she's expecting and what Josh is going to provide is so grossly different that therein lies the rub of excellent producing. So Natalie goes to like a 3-star hotel, 2 or 3 star hotel. It's not the worst. It's definitely not the best. It's definitely not a hotel that I even know where it's in Los Angeles. They're definitely, it's like in my mind, I'm like, because, sometimes they give us a little like, oh, here's the name of the hotel, like, I'm like, this hotel, obviously not on it. Like, so then we're at this like very cheap hotel with orange sort of like 70s decor where Natalie's own mom is like, this is not the spot. Natalie's mom, again, from, I mean, it's not the spot if Natalie's mom, like, even says it's not the spot. I love the idea of Natalie's mom like, Michael would have never done this to us. Natalie wants to be the sugar baby you marry, even though she's getting too old to be a baby. Yeah. Josh's been pretty upfront with her. I'm not anti-Josh. You know what? Oh, I am. I think he's so gross. I mean, like, and I say this in the way, like, he's the way that he has engaged with Natalie is not respectful. Because the truth of the matter is, if he was to he has seen the way that she is and how crazy and screaming, and he knows what she wants, and he's not going to give it to her, but he's going to stay around. Why? To fuck her or be on TV. And neither one of those things is not the look for like a man of like any sort of like decorum. Not for me. But great for Natalie. So Natalie then the next day gets to go on her date with Josh finally or whatever. And the mom's mom like absolutely fucking not. Then Josh takes her on their first date in LA. That's not in LA at all. They go to Long Beach to go roller skating at a place that they show the name of the roller skating place, which means they're getting it for free. Josh, and this is the part where we all loved it. She's like, Josh, I don't have anything, I don't have anything. I don't have a place to stay. I don't have a job. He's like, okay, well, she knows because she met him being fucking CEO of some modeling agency that when she says that he told her that he can get her a job, in her mind, that she thinks that it's like acting and or modeling work. So when this bitch, Josh, is like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to see what I can see. I have some administrative work that my brother can do for you. We're like, yeah, Natalie, you're going to be, honey, answering a phone at some car dealership in the fucking valley. That's what's going to be. Like, that's what Josh is going to set up for you. Oh, hey, Sir Anthony. Yeah, like, it's interesting when he says that, she doesn't say anything. I wanted her to be like, oh, okay, but also, how about modeling jobs? I guess I'm like, I just so badly, I'm into it. So basically, at the end of this thing, she's like mad because she's expecting him to pay for an apartment and get her jobs that she wants to do, and he won't do it. And so she's like, I have nothing. I'm here. You told me to come here, and now you're saying you have to go away and work for 2 weeks. When are you going to get me an apartment? He's like, I'm going to go tomorrow. And that's it. And she's like, well, what if we don't find a place tomorrow? And she comes down. She like storms away in her like weird brown leather suit. Then comes back down, having completely changed, and screams at him. And it's like in my mind, I'm like, are we good? I mean, yeah, is this season of Single Life watching her answer phones? I mean, if I got to watch Natalie go to acting class, I would not be upset. Now, what is going to make me upset, of course, is if she books something. Natalie won't be able to book anything of substance. The best that Natalie is going to be able to do, and I mean this, would be some sort of like maybe a Hallmark movie or like a bit part in like something like that. Like 'cause some of the bachelors or some like those contestants like can do that kind of work. But Natalie's not going to be able to be an actress. She's not an actress. She also uh, the reason why I think that she's not a good actress, and I'm not saying she's not dramatic, obviously she is she's over the top for sure, and she's way too self-conscious. I don't think that you can be a very good actress and not be okay with showing a very human, unfiltered side, right? If you look at like Natalie's entire Instagram, it's like she 100% thinks that she's, a model. But I mean, it's just like no qualms, like I'm not, she's not more vain than Darcy is. She's very vain. Natalie's very vain. And definitely Natalie thinks that she's gorgeous. Natalie's not bad looking. Darcy also is very vain, but Darcy, obviously hates herself to the point that like can't stop, won't stop changing everything possible about her. I mean, that's the God's honest truth. The thing about Darcy and Stacy, and that's why it's like I can't watch someone hate themselves that much. It's always been a problem for me. I think it's one of the reasons why Khloe Kardashian had like the dip in popularity that she did, because it's hard to watch someone actively hate themselves, continually hate themselves, change everything, and still hate themselves over and over again. Dead Body and SVU. Hostess at a restaurant. Would Natalie ever be happy? She seems to pout, shout, and cry with every disappointment. Single Life just premiered last night. So this is everything I'm talking about now is all new. Okay, so else on the program of Single Life is our Tyray, honey, our Tyray. It's funny because Natalie, definitely moments of her seem very fake or whatever. And then we have Tyray, and like conversely, it's like night and day of like good and bad energy, where you're like, Natalie's crazy and she's bananas, and Josh and her are obviously never going to be together. And, and does she deserve love? Definitely a lot of self reflection first. With Tyray, you're like, oh my God, if the season could be this man finding warmth and romantic love and pockets of intimacy, even if he doesn't find the one, if we get to watch this person on the journey of self-acceptance and self-love and being able to share and grow in their desire again for connection and intimacy, it'll be like the saving grace of this series. If the producers manage to have authentic, sincere scenes of Tyray opening up his heart and soul and having someone feel that and open up to him, it's like going to be a really beautiful season, because all of our hearts are in for Tyray. Like, he is incredibly lovable. Now, having said that, I don't want anything shitty to come out about Tyray that's going to make it feel hard to put our money to put our money behind him, to hang our hat on him at the end of the night. And no one is perfect. Okay? But he's incredibly lovable, and we want the best for him. And we know that we all deserve love, and we can see that this person is yearning for it. And I think that there's the parts of us that watch this series and the parts of us that love, or parts of us that want people to be happy, that when the characters of this franchise like represent that innate goodness, it's like kind of remarkable. Right? Because like for the past hour and 43 minutes, until I said Tyray's name, everyone else is like, who gives a fuck? Sure, some people are fun, like Shekinah and Sarper, but like, of every couple we said up until, again, an hour and 43 minutes of this live stream, if they break up, that's fine. Brandon and Mary, if they were like, well, he's coming back and it's not going to work out, none of us would be like, what? We'd be like, well, makes sense. And that's like one of the stronger couples, And so having said that, Tyray representing who Tyray isn't fucking incredible. And it's interesting because when Tyray happened, it was like not obviously the normal trajectory of a 90-day person, in that we never fucking found his other person. He was a catfish. He got catfished. Obviously, that's his story. And the person that he thought was his 90-day fiance was not the real person, and thusly why he's on let's call it living single. The single life. He's on living single, honey. My God, if Wahama was here, she'd love it so much. And she'd say, we are living single. Anyway, so it's so that is smart producing because we got that storyline. They cut out, when we need to because there wasn't much happening. But now we get to use him again because he's a lovable, authentic character who we want the best for, who we understand what they want and their objective in life. And now we get to kind of like root for them. So Debbie and Osama is on the show too. It's funny because there's obviously already been a Debbie on the show, and that was Debbie of Colty Debbie, and now we have Debbie, and both females are older females who talk a certain specific way, Colty is how Debbie talks, and this one is like, Osama. It's like, I don't know. I want to go, I have to do a Debbie off. Osama. Colty. You want the Debbies to like hang out, kind of. They're very different Debbies. Like the Debbies would hate each other. Like Colty's mom, Debbie, is real straight laced, and obviously Debbie of Osama is like out of the fucking left field. So with Debbie, we're gonna get her kind of being a little baddie and her wanting to be a young, fresh flower that age doesn't matter. And I think that it's Debbie. When we first saw Debbie, we all loved Debbie. And then what happened was Debbie during the tell-all aligned with people that was kind of questionable. And then we didn't know where Debbie was mentally. And so now there's like a little, when I see her, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about her, honey. Like, I can't put all of my eggs in the basket with her, like with Tyree. Like, I think that she is baddie for sure. Damn, Debbie is channeling Liberace. I was totally impression the culty Debbie impression. You know what I'm saying though? It's like that. It's like, okay. So yeah, with Debbie about Debbie and Osama, I used to think that I thought that she was like a crazy, beautiful angel and was just sweet and loving. And now I feel like she doesn't have all her eggs in her basket. And I think that if I was around her, she would say things that would make me have pause of whether I would want to continue my conversation with her. Sometimes there's a blankness in which she speaks where I can't quite tell if like she's all there or if this is someone who has done acid so many times that what I feel is a disconnect and or brain damage. Horrible for me to say. Horrible for me to say. There are some people that have done enough drugs in this world where the expression of their face and eyes and like sort of like disconnect between this reality and where they are makes the energy when you're with them anxious. And so yeah, with Debbie, like I think that I used to be like kind of more into her, and then I started to be like, well, of course Osama's weird and a bad and creep bad guy and all of these things, but also I also feel like he gave Debbie no reason to go to Morocco, and she did. And I feel like there'd be times in which if I had to know Debbie, she would say things to me, like I said, and I would be like, get me the fuck out of here. Because you wouldn't know how to say anything back to her. And if you did, she wouldn't take it anyway. She's just in her own delusional land, I think. What is it with like the Debbies and the Hollies and this like, there's an out of touch with reality eccentricness that happens to some peeps, and then they grow their hair real long. And is long hair That's why I feel like, isn't it funny? Like, I hate to say it. There is something to be said, though, for grotesquely long, unkept hair and the mental stability that is like underneath that hair. There's a correlation there, can't we? Can we kind of think that? Hair hides a multitude of sins for sure, but also like exposes a multitude. Like, hair says so much. Anyway. Yeah, Debbie says she likes Latin men. When she said that and we were like, I was like, "Oh, is that like, is your thing like, yeah, brown guys?" With Osama and stuff like that. I was like, "Oh, is this your way of saying you like, you're like this like, yeah, blonde white woman who's like kind of always gotten down with like some BIPOC gents?" Then, honey, we get into Chantel. Chantel is hot off of her and Pedro's demise, and she basically is going to go to Greece for sex tourism slash a divorce vacation with one very loud guy and two girls. I you know, that guy's too loud. He's screaming the entire time and he's ruining like every one of her potential situations with men who are all way too young anyway. But like his screaming at her to like, like get this guy's number or do that or whatever. It's like, I mean, I don't know. It's the same thing. It's like, oh, I cannot hear it. I cannot hear that screaming. It's taking me out of every scene. I don't care about it. But yeah, we can talk about this. Chantel absolutely just goes to Greece. He's like, I want to fuck some Greek guys. I like Greek guys. They're big Greek dicks. I like brown Greek. It's just like, okay, well, yeah, all right, well. Only it's like, can you imagine if Tyree went to the Philippines? It was like, I can't wait to like get in some Filipino pussy. Can't wait to like just really hook up with some Filipino broads. So you just be like, oh, huh, bad luck. Um, yeah. So I will say that Chantel has been paid very well for the seasons that she's on TV, and she looks gorgeous all the time. And she obviously has taken great pains to pack and have a full vacation, fabulous wardrobe. And she does. And she does. I will say Chantel was like, you know what these bitches want? These bitches want Chantel in Greece looking fabulous. She's true. What we don't want is like like it's just it's the loud friends and everything like that's like bachelorette party feelings, right? Like I cannot stand people screaming anywhere. But the idea of like going to like a bar and then you and your friends are screaming at, people, it's just like it's the worst. It's like no one wants to hear it. Like it's not hot, it's not romantic, it's not sexy. I don't understand why. In my mind, I'm like, Chantel, why the fuck are you gonna bring all of these designer gowns and all these like Hermes fucking sandals just to run around Greece with like screaming ass banshees that are just gonna like ruin your fucking vibe, ruin your aesthetic, ruin your look? How are you even gonna be fabulous on vacation with people screaming around you? You are in Greece. It's gorgeous all the time. There's beautiful food, there's amazing music. It's like you absolutely need to go and soak shit in and be present in the moment. And I cannot have someone taking me out and ruining everything by like making it about themselves. I'm actually surprised that Chantel allowed someone in her group to like try and steal the fucking shine. I mean, if this is what it's going to be, I will fast forward every one of her segments. I just like I won't allow I just can't hear screaming like that. I think it bothers people less because Greece isn't a poor country, but it's still sex tourism. I get it, but also it is a poor country. I mean, in the sense of like, remember how Greece's like entire fucking economy fell? I'm gonna laugh. I'm not laughing about that, but yes, I know what you're saying that it's like not third world in that way, but Greece had a whole economic collapse. Sex tourism is so interesting. It's weird because it's like, I guess the idea of like, it's hard for me to have sex here, but I'm gonna go somewhere else where it'll be easy for me to have sex, or everyone here is ugly to me. I'm gonna go to this place where everyone is more attractive to me. Or I feel like I have to act a certain way in this place because this is the country I live, so I'll go to this place and act whatever I want to act in order to get laid. Hmm. Um, Chantel gets to be on Single Life and also have like her, you know, family Chantel series happening where they're talking about Pedro and stuff like that in the divorce. So she gets to, I mean, really bring in this bucks right now. Chantel, she is gorgeous. No, she's really pretty. She's not the most beautiful person on the show, but she's absolutely fantastic and fabulous. It's interesting though, because she's never been, again, funny or charming. For some reason, all of Chantel's family has the most monotone voice. It's like just not naturally, I guess, engaging people, which is probably why they were like, we got to get a loud, fun person to be in your like Greece trip so that things happen. I mean, who are the funnest people on in the 90-day world? Like, who are the personalities that you feel like can go from episode to episode that if they're commenting on other people, that's fine. If they're living, it's fine. It's like, I know I said Andre, it's because I like Andre and I like Libby too. I mean, I hate sure their whole fucking family, but like Libby and Andre, yes. Like I'll be interested to see, like, I like Kalani and obviously Suelu's dumb. I wonder if we'll get Kalani bringing Dallas in as like pillow talkers and as people that comment. You know, Emily and Kobe. Yes, Emily and Kobe are real. Yeah. And yeah, it's funny because Emily and Kobe have gotten to be way more beloved, I feel like, after their season because on their season, Emily was like enemy number one. But I think what ended up happening was they just kept having babies, and then I guess people were like, "Well, they're happy. They've been fucking." I love the gay guys in Mexico. They are a hoot. Oh, Valentine. Yes, yes, yes. Carlos and Valentine. Yeah, it's like what's interesting? It's like I love some people on Love After Lockup too, and obviously it's under Matt Sharp production. Could you imagine a world in which they got Love After Lockup people to like talk about 90 Day Fiance people and or the opposite? Like I'd like Lindsay's idea of Danielle, of Lindsay and Blaine. What do they think about Danielle and Johan? Or like, Eris and Cameron. I like Cameron's obviously hilarious. Could you imagine a world in which he gets to talk about people? Like if he gave his like 2 cents? Anyway, having said that, I've been talking for literally 2 hours. Just Google this Chantel person. She is pretty. Sir Anthony, you didn't know Chantel of Pedro and Chantel? Harvesting the American Dollar? Sir Anthony, when did you start watching 90 Day Fiance? What season? Maybe the family Fontel is over. Jenny and Armando? Kenny. Kenny and Armando. Yeah, Kenny and Armando are not funny people enough that I care about their opinions of people. I like them as a couple. Like, I want the best for them. I think Emily and Kobe are real too. You're right. Like, these people are real, but I don't feel like I want their characters to live on in the show enough for me to like hear their opinions on everyone else, I guess. Whereas Cameron and Eris of Love After Lockup, like, he is such a personality. Like, Cameron's one-liners are so fucking quick, and like, to have him give his ideas of people would fill me with entertainment. Like, if Lindsay of Lindsay and Blaine was ever to give her ideas of people, it would fill me with entertainment. Love After Lockup would not put up with the crybabies on 90 Day Fiance. I know it. I know it. Could you imagine Lindsay going after Kimberly of Kimberly and TJ? Like, I want Lindsay to give it to Kimberly. Oh, I only know 90 Day Fiance through your channel. Oh, I don't quite understand that. Oh, that's so sweet. I only wish I talked probably about more important things. Sir Anthony, that's so kind of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Or Jasmine going after, like, if Lindsay went after Jasmine. So one other thing, thank you, Sir Anthony. One other thing that I like also want is, like, obviously Andre came on to the 3-part tell-all of 90 Day Fiance Toe and talked to people. I was like, and you were like, Andre, you can sit fucking right there, because when we have the tell-all for 90 Day Fiance season 10, we're going to need you to be our Moldovan professional, and you are going to deal with Igor and Justin / Nikki. I need Andre man to man in Moldovan. I want to hear Moldovan come out, or it's Romanian. Shit, it's not. I think they speak Romanian there. I'm so sorry, but I want to hear a different language, a not English language, come out of Andre's mouth, spoken to Igor, where he calls him Igor and is like, because you're not a Justin, Igor's the name that our father country gave you. And then, like, ask a bunch of questions. All the questions from that mouth. I guess, Tanya was brought on, I guess, because of the South African part, but she, by the way, gave nothing to that conversation, and definitely there was no angle in which she had to give that. And I don't understand why you would have Tanya and not Sinjin. Another thing where I'm like, do the producers of 90 Day Fiance think, out of Sinjin and Tanya, that we liked Tanya? No, bitch, we liked Sinjin. Anyway. I don't know. I just like, I can't wait for more Nicole and Mahmoud. I'm assuming if TJ's out here that we're probably gonna get more Kimberly and TJ. Honestly, I want more Shekinah and Sarper too. That would have, they're gonna have to get married. They're not married yet. This was the other way. So they would have to show their marriage, or have them come to America, or when was the last season of Happily Ever After? Like, it's like, I have to like almost Google, is there an actual calendar that they adhere to of rolling out these every season? I feel like we haven't had a, Happily Ever After in a very long time. You know what? People like Kenny. I think he's direct. I also think Kenny, at least, maybe I should. Kenny wasn't funny, but Kenny at least did some good work in his direct questions. And the funny thing is, you know what? You're right. He absolutely did. But I guess in my mind, it's like, but why do we need that? All of the like intelligent, direct questions should be coming from one Sean Robinson. But Sean Robinson hosts these fucking specials as if she has not watched one episode her entire life and how she very much feels and knows that the entire world is beneath her. Sharon Robinson feels like they wake her up, the day before and been like, I do one of these fucking tell-alls again. And she's like, oh no, what's that called again? 80 day something? Okay. And she shows up and they tell her what to say. I mean, every question that she asks people is phrased and said with such a cadence as if she has never even, I don't know, how she's never even seen them before. It's so weird. I it's not that I don't, I mean, I want the best for Shawn Robinson. I think that she's very good. It's interesting that this is like where, yeah, her this is where she makes the money the most. There's not like a project that better suits her skill level, nor is for some reason a person that's better suited for this job of talking about this dumb show, but caring about it and having had watched it in such a way. I don't know. All right, my loves. I'm gonna have to let you go as my throat is starting to hurt, and I have to like do something with my life today before the sun goes down. Um, I'm so thankful that you guys are in the room and you guys spent 2 hours talking with me, though. Obviously, I love you so much. I'm so thankful that, well, that anyone would spend any amount of time with me. I'm sorry that I wasn't really consistent this year at all with doing YouTubes, but I really want to like be more consistent. Getting into this new year, my loves. Can you believe it? I really want the best. I want a for sure a good year for me this year, but I absolutely, like what I said earlier, I absolutely want a better year for like the macro level of this fucking world. It's like the first year, yeah. It's like the first year where like I don't have a New Year's resolution where it's like I want my life to be better. Although I think that it can be and it should I want it to be. It's like I care more so about not having like a World War III situation happen. And I care more about us as a nation coming together with like really great leadership and a really great president that we can like all get behind. And I really care more about like, again, there being a ceasefire in the Middle East more so than like anything right now in my own life. But um I don't know how to make those resolutions happen, but it seems much bigger and more important than anything personally for me. Oh my God, Ramsterdam just comes in, honey, just comes in, just gets in here. I'm gonna tell Muhammad that you called me Christ. I really, really just obviously love you guys so much. Ramsterdam, it's been talking for 2 hours. I'm so sorry, my love. I'm gonna have to go, but don't think that I like want to now stay on another hour just because I saw your name. I do. Let's go ahead and do like a little breath work like we do. Really come together. Come together. This is a new year, obviously. Haven't you heard? Now, of course you have. It's 1 2 24. 1 2 24. It's can't fucking believe 2024. Halfway in the middle of this fucking decade. The only thing I know is that the only thing I know, I think that, ha ha ha, because things are very hard to be like solid and to pick what is a truth. Truths can change, but I don't know how to fix the entire world. I don't think I can, but I do feel like the one thing that I can do is try and radiate warmth and or love. And I also can try and help the people and causes I can hopefully help and do things for. I don't know where you are in your life and where you are in this. So I will say that I want to radiate my love and warmth to you. I don't want people to feel alone. I don't want people to feel like they don't have a connection in this world. And I know that on social media, it is very us versus them for a multitude of different political and worldly issues. And there are a lot of really important things happening, and and so it's important to stand up for what you believe. At the other side, there is just a connection that we all has of human beings, and I think sometimes that we can, like, get away from that, you know, trying to I guess, we can get away from the way that we are connected in this, like, us versus them kind of idea. We're the right side, pick a side, choose a side. It's not hard, all of that. I don't know the answer, but I do know that we can take a breath and we can center ourselves and we can just do what we can in these moments. I love you, and I'm so happy that you spent some time with me. And I really, really want you to have an amazing year. I want the people that you have in your life to be like healthy, loving people in your life, and I want you to be them for the people in your life. And I know you are. And if there are times in which relationships change or you change, that's what happens. And we have to move through these things with as much grace as possible. Okay, let's do our like cleansing breath that kind of like sets us up, and we'll do our real breath. So the rehearsal breath and then, our actual breath. Okay. Okay. In. I will tell her. The do one more because I like it so much. I love you. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe. Make art. I'll see you next week, okay? All right, babes. Bye.